Hey YouTube, just wanted to make a tutorial video for anybody who hasn't played this fantastic game yet, Dark Souls 3. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through the starting area, which is called the Cemetery of Ash, pick up a few items, go over some basics, and like what class to choose if you're just starting out in a Dark Souls 3 game, and just how to do some of the basic things like buy some equipment and level up. So let's get started. I'll make a new game. I'm playing this on PC, as you'll see.
Yes, indeed.
We'll skip the cinematic because it doesn't really matter. Name, doesn't matter. Make it anything you want. Gender has no effect on gameplay whatsoever. You can be male, female, and it doesn't affect any stats at all. There's a few little things it affects in the game, but nothing that's actually worth noting. Age doesn't. Starting class. This is an interesting one, since if you're just starting out in Dark Souls 3, Knight, basically the default starting class, is pretty much the way you want to go. They have a shield that starts out blocking 100% physical damage that you get hit with. So most of the damage in the game that you're going to encounter is physical. So it's actually a really good starting shield. You have solid armor that you start with, a solid weapon, with all-around good stats. So the Knight is a very solid, survivable choice to start the game as. All of the other ones take a little bit more work to use, so once you get used to playing with the Knight, then I would suggest trying out some of the other classes. But for now, we'll just start with the Knight. Burial Gift. Almost all of these are single-use items. This one basically, I think, gets you 2,000 souls right off the bat if you use it. A fire gem is also useful, although I haven't found too many enemies that are actually take a lot of fire damage. For me, one of the ones that I choose usually is the Life Ring, just for a few extra hit points. It doesn't give you much. I think it's a 5% boost to your maximum hit points, but everything else is not that useful and you can easily get throughout the rest of the game. So we'll choose Life Ring. Face, you can customize however you want. We're not going to worry about that right now. Neither the build, you can make yourself thinner or fatter or whatever you want to do. But so we'll just go ahead and finalize creation and get started. Alright, so I have my control set that run and jump are both on the B button. So running it and then pressing the B button again while I'm running will jump. And with the Knight, most of the classes you can't kill these beginner enemies with one hit. The Knight and several other classes are actually strong enough or have a good enough weapon to be able to do enough damage for that. Another reason why the Knight's a nice solid choice. Up here, I'll let this guy hit me to show you that the shield does block 100% of physical damage. It just takes out stamina. So we're going to go over here on the right. This guy is basically to teach you about backstab mechanics, where you can go up behind somebody and do that for extra damage. It's called critical damage. We'll lure these guys out, take care of them. Now you see I have a little bit of hit points out because he was shooting fire arrows. Now this shield does not block 100% fire damage. There is no shield that blocks 100% fire damage. Some that just block more than others. So anything regarding the elements or magic you will take damage to with pretty much any shield. Over this way is some kind of monstrous Titanite, or a monstrous crystal lizard. I can't remember. Ravenous crystal lizard, I think. And he's sitting up there, and we're going to leave him alone for now. We're just going to go to the first boss of the area, Eudix Gundyr. Now you notice that every time I swing, I lose a little bit of my stamina, and it takes a little while to come back. If you completely deplete your stamina bar, there's a delay in how fast it starts. So you want to try to manage your stamina that you don't use it all in one go. Just try to leave a little bit in reserve, and it'll come back a little bit faster. So this is a bonfire. This is where you get all of your Estus flasks and hit points and magic points recharged. Estus flasks are basically your health potions in the game, and they are very vital to your survival. So I picked up an item called a Cleric's Sacred Chime. That's for casting miracles, which are basically a lot of healing spells. Everybody makes mistakes. You have to have a certain amount of investment in the faith stat to be able to use those. Now, I just jumped off of this cliff, which is the only way to get down to this item, which is a Titanite shard. These function as your upgrade materials for your weapons. You can't upgrade your armor in this game. You can only upgrade weapons, shields, bows, things like that to new levels. Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2, you could upgrade your armor up to a value of plus 10. In this game, though, you just get whatever the armor value is. And yes, I have a bolt sticking out of my head. Actually, just on the side of my helmet there. So now that we've got all the items laying around here, there was only just those two. We'll go back, heal up at the bonfire, and then we'll go take on the boss. There's no real point in trying to collect a lot of souls from these guys. They don't give very many, and right now 316, that's not a lot. So if you lose it, it's not a big deal. If you fall from too far a height, you will take damage from the fall, which is why I did that, to avoid taking damage from just dropping down off the cliff. If you run and jump back onto the coffin again, you'll just roll and you won't take any damage. So if you do happen to die fighting this boss, there will be a wall of fog here that you have to walk through. And the boss fight will restart immediately with him already standing up. Right now he's just kind of hunched over with this sword through his chest. So as soon as we remove this sword, the boss fight is going to start. Now you won't be able to lock onto him with the R3 button, but you will still be able to hit him and damage him. So that's very important. You can still do damage while he's basically getting up for a few free hits to start the fight out. So we're going to be dodging and rolling a lot. We're going to try to tank as few hits as possible just because it depletes your stamina a lot. And you really need to reserve your stamina for rolling and dodging. So, alright, here we go. And I'm using two-handed because that actually grants you a little bit more attack because it upgrades, uses more of your strength bonus. That rolled a little bit too late. So now this is his fun new form, which that extra arm also does damage. You want to avoid that attack. That will hit you for a lot of damage. And that's it. That's all there is to it. So then you get Embered, is what it's called, which gives you a little bit more health, and you have this neat little like flame effect that's on your armor. And you get about 3,000 souls for killing him, which is good for the first couple of level ups that you get. So through these doors, we're going to have a few more trash mobs to kill before we get to Firelink Shrine. This is going to be your main hub for the game, and where we're actually going to do our leveling up and purchasing and upgrading and all that fun stuff. So you're going to be traveling back to the Firelink Shrine a lot in the course of the game. Come over here and get a Homeward Bone. A Homeward Bone transports you back to either the last bonfire that you rested at, or back to the Firelink altar from anywhere. If you get yourself in a bad situation, or you're just really far away from a bonfire and you don't know how to get back there, or you ran past enemies and can't beat them to get back there, Homeward Bone is an excellent thing to use. Because you keep all of your souls, you keep all of your things, and you just transport back to the last bonfire. Very, very handy items to have. So over around this corner, there's going to be a dog that ambushes us. So a lot of places, if you want to be a little bit more cautious, lead with your shield up whenever you walk into new areas. Eventually you'll learn what's where and what you need to do when you need to have your shield up and when not to. Because your stamina actually regenerates much slower with your shield up, as you can see now. It's just coming back a little bit at a time, but as soon as you let it go, the regeneration rate starts up a lot faster. So this is Firelink Shrine. That coiled sword that we pulled out of Ulic-Skundir's chest, that's what we put here to light the main hub bonfire. Now from here we can start to travel to the next area of the game, which is the High Wall of Lothric, but we won't go there right now. This lady here is the Firekeeper. She's the one that will do all of your leveling.
Fire unkindled one. I tend to the flame. The lords have left it to this end.
So you can just talk to her, which really doesn't do anything, or you can level up.
Very well. Then take nourishment.
Leveling, you can increase your stats, and it'll show you the exact effects that it's having on your hit points, your FP. I can't remember what the F is. Endurance raises your stamina, which lets you attack more and be able to block more with the shield. That's your green bar. Vitality lets you carry more by increasing your equip load. Strength, obviously, boosts your strength bonus damage to weapons and also allows you to carry, or use, rather, weapons that have a higher strength requirement. Same for Dex, well, it increases your Dex bonus. Intelligence is needed for many sorceries, and there's an intelligence requirement, and it also boosts the damage that you do through whatever item you're using to cast spells. Same thing with Faith, only that's for miracles. And Luck increases your item discovery. Item discovery is important because it dictates how often enemies drop the items that they can drop. Whether it's a Titanite shard or a specific weapon or a piece of armor, a higher item discovery value will give you a better chance of picking up something. So we're not going to level up at all right now.
Farewell.
We're going to go talk to our merchant. This is the Shrine Handmaid.
And yes, as is
So you can purchase and sell items from her. As you can see, you can buy Homeward Bones. So if you ever are running low, you can save up some souls and buy a few of them. You can buy a few starting weapons, dagger, short sword, scimitar, halberd, and you can buy the basic spellcasting tools. A few shields, an armor set if you really want, and some arrows for whenever you get a bow.
Ashen one.
So that's another place you can use your souls. The last place we're going to check out is Andre. Andre of Astora. Well, he's called Blacksmith Andre in this game, but you first meet him in the original Dark Souls, and he functions mostly the same way. So when we started, we picked up a blue Ashen Estus Flask. Now that one restores your FP, which is basically your magic points in the game, and you can trade them whether you want them to be all health on the left side or all magic on the right side, or any combination. Since I'm not going to be using magic with this character, I'm just going to use them all for health. Eventually, you can get Estus Shards, and he will increase the number of charges that your Estus Flask has. So right now I have 4, but if I give him an Estus Shard, he'll make it so I can use it 5 times before it runs out. Very handy. So he can also increase the power of your weapons with Titanite Shards. You'll see over on the left that it requires 2 Titanite Shards to go up to the next level, which would be Longsword plus 1. So I'd gain 11 physical damage and then 3 extra bonus damage because the scaling goes up. So as I put more points into strength and dexterity, that 14 and or 17 will go up and up and up. So the weapon will always do the same base damage, but you can also increase your attack by putting more points into strength or dexterity to increase the bonus modifier. So right now I can't upgrade anything because I'm short 1 Titanite Shard. And you get one shortly after this to be able to get a little bit more power out of your weapon. Repairing equipment's pretty useless, mainly because all of your equipment is repaired back to its maximum capacity every time you rest at a bonfire. Unless you break something, like you break a ring or you break a piece of equipment from it taking too much durability damage, he'll be able to fix it there. Other than that, that's about all there is to the first part of Dark Souls. You can search around. There's a couple other little secrets hidden around here that you can get. I won't go into that right now, but just getting started. That's about all there is. The next part of the game is to go to the High Wall of Lothric and just start exploring from there. So, hope this was helpful. If you'd like to see any more videos or any other bosses or anything like that, just let me know and I'll try to get that posted. So, thank you and have a good one.